My name is Misha now, and as Brian just did a little bit of an intro, I am one of the other practitioners at Cypress Pillar Healing Arts. My background is in environmental education, which plays in really nicely today because you are all outside. And historically, Tai Chi has been done like all over the world now, but when we look at the cultures that it came from, many of the moves have been inspired by nature. And that's true for all martial arts. If you look at some of the different martial arts styles, we have mantis style, we have tiger style, there's all different types of cranes, there's all different types of animals and plants even that come into play when we do these types of movements. And so they can influence our movements, which is really exciting. But when we look at nature, we can also use it to kind of, as Brian did at the beginning, kind of help cultivate our chi. And even if, you come to World Tai Chi Day and you're like, that was great, I enjoy that, I'm now going to try something else. There is something that I would like to share with you all that is really useful, especially right now, and it's not movement. So if you would like to take like a short break to sit down, you're more than invited to. And if you want to stay standing, that is totally okay to do as well. But this can be done as seated for those of you that would like a short break. So as I mentioned, my background is in environmental education. At Cypress Pillar, I'm their herbalist. And Dr. Bob, who was just here, is one of my teachers. He's really great if you all ever want to learn about plants. I also have probably over 25 years of teaching about the wild world. And at Cypress Pillar, I do a lot of work with Reiki as well. So we're going to kind of roll all that in today. And the reason this works really well for Tai Chi is because when you do the movement, you're cultivating the energy of the body. But you can't always do that. So what I'm going to teach you is something that I've used when I've been in places, airplanes. I have found out they do not let you do Tai Chi on an airplane. We actually found that out together. So don't try that. They really don't like it if you try to do yoga, especially if you try to do it in your seat. And I know that sounds really crazy, but when we've flown to Japan, that's a long plane ride. And so it's really good to keep the body moving. So what I'm going to teach you is a way to bring down anxiety, stress, and it's super useful for COVID right now when maybe we're inside a little bit, and any like long car rides or any types times when you're in a place where you can't really move. So drawing from that idea of nature, just want to invite you all to feel your feet on the ground. So if your legs are crossed, please uncross them. And if you're standing, just kind of feel your feet. I'm barefoot and covered in leaves because I was sitting in the ground, so you could tell I'm the nature girl. So if you can kind of like wiggle your feet, wiggle your toes, and it's okay if you're on concrete because the really great thing about the earth is there's still earth under there. So wherever we're at today, we are all sharing the same earth. And we have about 20 people joining us online through multiple different mechanisms, and we are all on that same planet. So take a moment and feel your feet press into the earth. And if you're standing, just allow your knees to soften. If you have your weight more in your toes or your heels and you're standing, you can rock your feet around. And same thing if you're seated, just kind of move your feet so that you can feel the toes as well as the heels and the arches and the outsides and insides of your foot press into the ground. And know that we are all connected right now, no matter where we are in the world. And actually, World Tai Chi Day is world for a reason, because during this time, all over the world, people are celebrating Tai Chi. So in this moment, you are connected to all of them. And I want to invite you to take your, this is going to be hard because I have a mic. So take your hand. I'm going to approximate in here, but imagine that I was putting my hands on my heart. So I want to invite you to put both hands on your heart. Thank you all. You're humoring me, and that is lovely. And go ahead and just bring your eyes to that soft gaze that Brian was talking about. So you can close them all the way if you want, but you can also keep them half open. And feeling your feet on the ground, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. So this time, let's try that again. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you do that, if you're standing, allow your knees to soften a little bit and allow the pelvis to very gently come into alignment with the spine. Now, you've had a lot of the gentlemen have talked to you about this, but I want to take it a little bit deeper and reconnect Tai Chi and Qigong to its roots. And so keeping that in mind, imagine as you're doing this breathing in through the nose out through the mouth, and think about that breath going into your heart. As you do, feel your feet and imagine that you are sinking your roots deeply. So just deep breath in and exhale. And as you breathe in, feel the breath go all the way down past your heart, all the way down into your belly. And maybe on this next breath, as you breathe in, you can feel your roots sinking in a little bit deeper. And this time, taking a deep breath in and exhaling just gently and softly, you can feel those roots spreading and tapping into the earth and knowing that no matter what happens, you are connected to others on the earth. And no matter what happens, you are held by the earth. And just as these trees that are surrounding us are strong and tall and deeply rooted, so are you. So deep breath in. This time we want to really allow that breath to go all the way down to the belly, and exhale, and just taking a moment to feel your roots. And then the invitation to keep one hand on your heart and bring the other to your belly. This is hard for me. I'm not really comfortable with my belly sometimes, but I've gotten a lot better with it with this practice. So again, deep breath in through your nose, all the way into your belly, feel it rise, and then exhale. And this time, as you do, allow those roots to pull down a little bit more, sink in. This time, as you inhale, think about, we've got the earth like kind of tapped in now, so let's connect to the sky. And just as the trees stretch up to reach the sun, so shall we. So we are deeply rooted, but we can also reach for the sky. So at this time, as you inhale, allow the crown of the head to stretch up and feel your ribs expand, and then exhale. Breathe in deeply, sinking into the roots, reaching the top of the head up. Exhale. And so if you're seated, see if you can feel your tailbone shift just a little bit, so you can feel your sit bones a little bit more on the chair. And if you're standing, hopefully by now, it almost feels like your pelvis is a little bit more in alignment. So let's take 3 more deep breaths in, sinking into that earth a little bit more and reaching up to the sky. And the reason we're slowing our breath down, you can continue with that breathing if you like, is because this actually affects our nervous system in a good way. So even if you can't move and get the benefits of Tai Chi, when you're connecting to the breath, and especially doing so in a way where you connect into the earth like this, it can actually really bring down our nervous system and our fight or flight reaction, which I think we could all use a little bit of these days. So just take a moment. You can breathe your normal breath. I know for sometimes it's hard to do the deep breathing. So bring your breath back to normal. Just sit for a moment. We're surrounded by the beautiful trees in the sky above us here at GT Bray. For those of you at home, no matter where you are on the earth, in this moment, we are all together. We are held strong and deeply rooted, even as we stretch up our faces to the sun. Beautiful. So the invitation to wiggle your toes a little bit. And if you kind of went into a nice little faraway place, wiggle your toes so you can come back. Move your feet around a little bit. And then you can stretch your legs a little bit, wiggle your fingers. And then you can release your hands and open your eyes. And hopefully you're feeling like a little bit more calm. Tai Chi is great for that, but that's my favorite practice no matter where I am in the world. Even if I'm inside, I can use that to bring myself back to nature. We have tons of evidence that comes out of Berkeley in California, as well as Japan, that's been coming to us since the 1970s, of nature bathing and just being out, the benefits of that, bringing so much joy and happiness to our lives. But sometimes we can't get out, especially if we are in the middle of a pandemic. So that is a practice that you can do at any time. And you can take yourself to the beach, you can take yourself to the forest, wherever you'd like to go. So thank you all very much.